Greetings, fellow travelers in the vast and ever expanding Star Wars galaxy. Today we're venturing into a territory of debate, a realm where the passionate exploration of the past collides with the well intentioned ambition of the present. We're discussing the High Republic era and the fundamental question of its necessity within the larger tapestry of Star Wars storytelling. The EU, beyond its contributions over the years, was a monument to creative ambition. For decades, it dared to venture into every conceivable corner of the galaxy far, far away. It painted vibrant portraits of ancient Sith empires, chronicled the rise and fall of countless Jedi orders, and explored the untold stories of heroes and villains across millennia. The EU wasn't constrained by caution. It embraced the unknown. It wasn't afraid to take risks, to challenge conventions, or to delve into the most obscure and uncharted territories of the Star Wars timeline. Think about the richness and diversity of the stories the EU gifted us, from the epic grandeur of the Old Republic with its sprawling conflicts and complex moral dilemmas, to the gritty realism of the New Republic era, grappling with the aftermath of the Empire's fall. We saw the terrifying alien menace of the Yuuzhan Vong, the intricacies of galactic politics, and the profound exploration of the Force's mysteries. The EU was a testament to the boundless potential of the Star Wars universe. And yet, when we cast our gaze across this vast and ambitious tapestry, the High Republic era remains conspicuously absent. This isn't a mere oversight. The EU wasn't a collection of haphazardly thrown together stories. It was a carefully constructed, meticulously curated universe, built by writers, artists, and game developers who possessed an unparalleled passion for Star Wars and a profound understanding of its core essence. They weren't just filling in gaps, they were actively seeking out compelling stories, rich lore, and untapped potential. If the High Republic era, as presented in the current initiative, truly offered something substantial, something essential to the larger Star Wars saga, something that resonated with the core themes and values of this universe, is it reasonable to expect that the EU would have seized upon it? The EU, with its wealth of creative talent, its unwavering dedication to expanding the Star Wars universe, and its relentless pursuit of captivating narratives, would have explored this era with the same fervor and enthusiasm it applied to every other corner of the galaxy. The fact that the EU largely avoided the High Republic era speaks volumes. It suggests that the EU, in its expansive exploration of the Star Wars universe, didn't find this era to be particularly fertile ground for compelling storytelling. It prompts us to question the necessity and the inherent value of an era that the EU, in its passionate and dedicated pursuit of enriching the Star Wars galaxy, deemed largely uninteresting. This absence should give us pause. It forces us to confront a fundamental question. What does the High Republic era offer that the EU in its boundless creativity couldn't find? What essential truths, what compelling narratives, what groundbreaking explorations of the Force and the galaxy does it provide that warranted its creation when the EU, with its vast imagination, saw little value? Now I anticipate the counter-argument. Just because we know what happens, mostly in the High Republic era, doesn't mean there aren't worthy stories within it. Why does the Skywalker saga still fascinate to this day when everyone knows what happens there? It's a fair point, but it's a flawed comparison. The Skywalker saga's enduring appeal lies in its profound exploration of universal themes: love, loss, betrayal, redemption, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. It's a character-driven narrative anchored by iconic figures whose journeys resonate with audiences on a deeply emotional level. The Skywalker saga is also the foundation of the Star Wars universe itself. It is the core narrative that all other stories expand upon. We know the broad strokes of the Skywalker saga, but we return to it for the nuances, the complexities, the emotional depth of its characters and their relationships. We are invested in their personal journeys, their struggles, and their triumphs. We are drawn back to the familiar because it is deeply human. The High Republic, in contrast, often feels detached from these core themes. It lacks the same level of emotional investment, the same deeply rooted connection to the heart of Star Wars. It's a setting, not a saga. It's an era, not a character. It's a backdrop, not a driving force. The EU, in its expansive and passionate exploration of the Star Wars universe, understood the difference. It recognized the power of character-driven narratives, the importance of universal themes, and the need to connect with the emotional core of the Star Wars saga. The High Republic, in its relative absence from the EU's tapestry, stands as a stark reminder of this essential truth. It's a truth that should guide our understanding of its true value within the larger Star Wars narrative. The Star Wars saga, at its core, is a story of cyclical conflict, a constant struggle between freedom and oppression. The original trilogy culminated in a hard-won victory, the fall of the Empire, and the promise of a new era. But what happened next? What trials did the fledgling New Republic face? What challenges did our beloved heroes confront in a galaxy still reeling from decades of tyranny? Currently, much of the creative energy and resources are being directed towards the High Republic era. We see a significant push for stories set centuries before the Skywalker saga, exploring the Jedi Order at its peak. While there are many interesting stories to tell in this era, it's crucial to ask, is this where the focus should be? The EU in its heyday dared to answer the questions left after the original trilogy. It painted a vibrant picture of the post-Endor galaxy, exploring the rise of new threats, the formation of the New Republic, and the continued adventures of Luke, Leia, Han, and their allies. It was a period of rebuilding, of exploration, and of defining the future of the galaxy. Yet, this era, so rich with potential, has been largely relegated to legends, leaving a gaping void in the official canon. We see glimpses of this era in the occasional flashback, a fleeting reference here and there, but these are mere crumbs. They do not satisfy the hunger for substantial narratives, for sprawling adventures, or the kind of in-depth exploration that the EU once provided. Disney Plus shows, while entertaining, often rely on nostalgia and familiar faces, but rarely venture into the potential of this post-Endor period. And the potential of this era is immense. Imagine stories of the New Republic's struggles to establish itself, facing internal dissent and external threats. Imagine new villains rising from the ashes of the Empire, new heroes emerging to challenge them. Imagine the growth and evolution of Luke's Jedi Order, the political maneuvering of Leia Organa, and the continued adventures of Han Solo. These are the stories that connect us to the characters we love, that explore the direct consequences of the original trilogy's events. We crave stories. We yearn for books, comics, and games that immerse us in this pivotal period. We want to see the galaxy rebuild, to witness the birth of new societies, to explore the uncharted territories of the Force. We want to see the legacy of the original trilogy carried forward with the same passion and creativity that defined the EU. And while we're on the subject of unexplored potential, let's address another crucial point. Why the continued focus on the Jedi Order, even in a different era when the Star Wars universe offers so much more? Where are the compelling Sith narratives? Where are the explorations of the dark side that go beyond simplistic villainy? The parent company that gave us the morally complex Maleficent and the R-rated brutality of Deadpool and Wolverine surely has the capacity to delve into the darker aspects of the Force. We understand that Star Wars is not just about the light, it's about the constant tension between light and darkness. Yet we're often presented with a sanitized version of that struggle, a limited portrayal of the Sith and their motivations. Consider The Acolyte. This series, set in the High Republic era, had the potential to offer a fresh perspective, to explore the dark side from a unique angle. However, some argue that it failed to fully capitalize on this potential. Perhaps the story it was trying to tell would have resonated more powerfully had it been told primarily or even entirely through the eyes of the Sith. Imagine a narrative that truly delved into their motivations, their philosophies, and their intricate plans. A story that explored the allure of the dark side, not as a simple path to power, but as a complex and seductive force. Intriguingly, there's a potential sign of change on the horizon. The upcoming novel, Star Wars Master of Evil from Random House Worlds, hints at a possible shift in direction. A title like this, suggesting a focus on the darker aspects of the Force, could indicate a willingness to explore Sith-centric narratives in a more compelling way. If this book delivers on its title, it could be a step towards a more balanced and nuanced portrayal of the Star Wars universe. Disney, Lucasfilm, it's time to reevaluate priorities. While the High Republic offers a glimpse into the past, the post-Episode 6 era holds the key to the future of Star Wars storytelling. And while the Jedi Order has its place, the Star Wars universe is far richer and more complex than a singular focus on the light side. It's time to shift the focus, to redirect the creative energy, and to embrace the vast possibilities that lie between the fall of the Empire and the rise of the First Order. It's time to explore the full spectrum of the Force, to tell stories that challenge us, that provoke us, and that truly capture the breadth and depth of the Star Wars galaxy. This is more than a fan-centric blind catering to the masses. It is a necessary process in which the Star Wars universe needs in order to thrive for future generations. It is a fundamental groundwork, willfully constructed through any narrative because it establishes why something is important to begin with. The ability is there. Whether Disney Lucasfilm will embrace it remains the question. Because if they don't, someone else will.